What's up everyone, it's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and this is going to be a pretty damning video in the sense that look at the state of modern gaming and how companies are trying to fuck us over as much as possible and trying to screw everyone as much as possible for the almighty euro, the almighty dollar, the almighty dollary-do, the almighty yen, the almighty world, whatever currency you use, universal credits, let's call it whatever we want, because they want it, we have it, and they want to get it as hard and as fast as possible. And as much as possible. But real quick, before I go any further, I do want to do one quick thing that I've been putting off because I've honestly kept forgetting about it. And every time in the last couple of days I've made a video and I've used Cuphead footage, I specifically wanted to give a shout out to Bill Purnell on Twitter. Now, I kept forgetting to do that because I'm a terrible person. But let's be real, I'm just a terrible person. But the point is that he ran a competition. And I won this competition, and he gifted me a copy of Cuphead, for which I am exceptionally grateful for, because Cuphead turned out to be fantastic, and without him, well, who knows if I would have played it properly or whatever it is. Anyway, that's beside the point, but you can thank him for why you're seeing this awesome footage. So, on to the actual topic at hand. Microtransactions, loot boxes, whatever way, shape, or form that they take, we can now probably pretty much just consider them the root of all evil. Now, it's no surprise that microtransactions and loot boxes in particular are much hated for several reasons. One, they can give people an unfair advantage. Now, this only applies in certain games, because in certain games, two people can both pick it up at 9 AM at the same time on the same launch day. One of these people can go home, start playing the game, put the time in, unlock all the stuff, whatever. But maybe the other person doesn't. Maybe the other person decides to spend 20 quid and he decides, oh look, I'm going to buy this specific microtransaction or DLC or whatever, or random loot box, and maybe he gets something good in it that you usually wouldn't unlock until maybe like 15 hours of playthrough or at a higher level. And suddenly he's a beast because he paid real money. Those are the worst kind. The actual ones that affect gameplay. Those are the worst kind. Now, you may be wondering what other kind there are as well. Well, let's face it. There's ones that are they're literally just cosmetic only. Let's look at Overwatch as our big example here. Overwatch, anything you can get in loot boxes in Overwatch is strictly cosmetic. There's no gameplay differences, no balance, no anything. Now, I don't fully 100% agree with the Overwatch side of it. Because don't forget, this is a full retail game as well. It's not a free-to-play game. Usually, I know the game goes on sale a lot, but usually it's a full-price game. But that's beside the point in this specific one I'm making for. Essentially, there's two levels of scumminess when it comes to microtransactions. There's the ones... Actually, no, let's change that. There's three different levels of scumminess in microtransactions. The lowest level is the Overwatch level, because in the Overwatch level it's literally just cosmetic. It doesn't give you an advantage in any way, shape or form, and the game isn't designed around it. You've got the middle section. The middle section is level 2, and these are stuff like we've been seeing in, well, one of the big reasons that this video is being made is Star Wars Battlefront 2. Or should I call it Star Wars Battlefield 2 2? Because, let's face it, Battlefront 2 already exists, and this game is just Battlefield with a Star Wars skin on it. So, you see my point. But a little while back, it had came out that stuff you could get in loot boxes in Star Wars Battlefield 2, that's right, I'm going to keep calling it that, they will actually have noticeable, tangible benefits and performance gains versus your opposition in competitive multiplayer. So that's a bit of an issue right there, because you can literally pay to have, I won't say pay to win, because essentially that's what pay to win is, but I'm just going to pump that back just a little bit, just to keep it not as over dramatized, if that makes sense. So it's pay to get a specific notable advantage. And then you have the top tier scumbag. Surprisingly enough, this one is not from EA, believe it or not. I expected this one to be from EA or Ubisoft, to be honest. But surprising enough, this comes in with my third most hated developer. So again, it's pretty much not too surprising. But let's look at it anyway. The upcoming release tomorrow, or depending on when you watch this video, maybe it released 6 years ago, Middle-earth: Shadow of War. The sequel to Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. That's basically Shadow of Mordor 2. So, why do I wonder about this, and why is this one the top level of scumminess? Well, the reason why these are the top level of scumminess ones, basically, is that the game balance, the actual single-player game balance, because this is not a multiplayer game, this is a single-player game. The game balance of Shadow of War is designed in such a way that the true ending of the game is locked behind the final chapter. Obviously, when you think about a true ending, final chapter. But the final chapter is only accessible after either 1, purchasing stuff from loot boxes that can only be gotten in loot boxes. There's 2 issues within itself right there. I'll get to them now in a second. But you have stuff, or what was I saying? The balance is done in a way that you can only either purchase loot boxes and get things from loot boxes, or put in a hugely significant amount of grind and playtime. And it would literally just be time spent grinding that stuff over and over and over and over and over. It's not something that you would get to a point naturally unless you were just absolutely specifically grinding that stuff over and over and over beyond the usual capabilities and playtime of the game. That's a big fucking problem. Now, the other one that also stemmed from the same issue that I was talking about there is in Shadow of War, the loot boxes and the microtransactions, they give you orc followers. And if what I remember is correct, I haven't played Shadow of War, but I never played the original one, Shadow of Mordor, either. But from what I am to understand, with the new one, with Shadow of War, you actually build up your own orc army of followers and whatever and all that through loot boxes and through microtransactions and stuff like that. Now, from what I'm led to believe, based on reports from media outlets and people who have got early copies of the game and started playing it and talking about it and blah blah blah, the top tier, like absolute top level of orc followers let's just call them legendary, and let's say the next one down is epic. You can only get legendary followers and legendary orcs from purchased with real money loot boxes. So straight away they're locking the top tier of character off unless you spend money. And then not only that, but they've changed the balance of the game to specifically incentivize reasons to spend real money on this. Like when you think about it, it's like, okay, maybe you finish Shadow of War and you want to get the true ending. Let's say, for argument's sake, I have no idea how long the game is, but let's say you finish it in 60 hours and you think, okay, I want to get the true ending. I can either A, spend real money, or B, spend about 40 hours of grinding just to be able to do it naturally. And we've all grinded in games. It gets old really fucking fast. I just personally finished Persona 3 yesterday. And towards the end, I'm not going to give spoilers, but you have a significant portion of free time towards the end. And I chose to spend about probably a little over half that doing a significant portion of grinding. And I eventually wanted to tear my hair out. It was that. I have short hair, but I'm lucky I have short hair, because if it was longer and I could have got a proper grip, I'd be bald right now. That's beside the point. There's rumors of other games that are actually other single-player games that are changing their balance as well to promote loot boxes. There's rumors and like kind of low-grade talk and like on the DL talk about Assassin's Creed Origins actually doing this as well. Now, we all know that Assassin's Creed Origins is probably going to be a big kind of story-focused game, and they're almost going on the Destiny side of it with the whole more RPG mechanics than anything else. But again, Assassin's Creed is always terrible ever since like 2.5 games. But the point is that it seems that they're changing the balance of games to promote people to buying with real money these boxes instead of actually playing the game. And I can't even fault them for saying instead of playing the game, because if the balance is so skewed against you on purpose to make you spend this money, or spend 20, 30, 40 hours grinding just to get specific things or specific setups or whatever, that is absolutely scumbag level of stuff. And remember, people, these are multi-billion-dollar corporations, and these are not free-to-play games. These are expensive games. These are games that retail for 60, 65, 70, 75, or whatever it is amounts of euro in your location, dollars, whatever, dollary dues, same thing. These are full-priced games, coupled with these games that are expecting you to buy a an up to €50 season pass as well. You're already looking at a €125 outlay on a game just to get the full amount of content. There was air quotes there, but you can't see it. And just to give you a rundown, I'm not specifically shitting on one or two of these games. Pretty much every developer and every publisher out there and every manufacturer do shady shit like this. Halo 5, for example, has purchasable rec packs. And of course, I will say before we go any further, actually, some of the games on this list, you can earn this stuff with in-game points. And it's not so much done in the realm of balance being skewed against you, so it's just something that would happen naturally over time. Akin is Halo 5 and Overwatch are two ones that, for example, you will earn over time of natural play and progression. Now, again, so we've got Halo 5, we've covered Overwatch as well. Forza is another good example. Forza actually has like car packs and stuff like that now as well. And just recently, it came out that over such severe fan backlash of how the currency and basically microtransactions system was changed and how it affects the actual game of Forza Motorsport 7, that the developers, Turn 10 Studios, actually reverted to an older, what is considered more fair version of how to unlock or say access the microtransactions through in-game stuff, rather than being so absolutely unwieldy that you would just rather spend real money or play for 50 hours just to unlock one thing. Those numbers are just completely hypothetical, pulled out of the air, but it just illustrates the amount of balance. Like, again, Street Fighter 5, same deal. You can buy a character, you can buy a costume, you can buy a level, you can buy whatever, or you can earn 100,000 points. And you might get 100 points a match. So you see my point here, is it's stuff that's just completely skewed against it. But again, there's so many games like this. Star Wars Battlefield 2, for example, is also on this list. Another big one that's a huge point of contention. Actually, before I go any further, Gears of War 4, same deal. But like I said, we're going any further. Another big one is the leaks of the Call of Duty World War II beta. Recently it was discovered that with the PC beta of Call of Duty World War II, there are now a second set of loot boxes. Well, I should say this just for 100% clarity's sake. The last couple of Call of Duty games have had loot box style systems where you could buy with real world money to actually get unlocked stuff. Some of them might have been guns, some of them might have been power-ups, some of them might have been just cosmetics. But the point is they did have microtransaction and loot box style systems. Now, assuming Call of Duty World War II still has that in the multiplayer aspect, there are now leaked to be zombie crates, zombie boxes, zombie whatever. So now this game has two completely separate modes with two completely separate loot box systems and microtransactions, one for each part of the game. Why not give us one for single player, where we can just buy a way to skip a level? We can just buy the ending. And really quick, one thing that a lot of people seem to forget as well is microtransactions have been around for a while. Microtransactions have taken many ways, shapes and forms over, we'll call it like the last 6, maybe even 10 years, but they've never really been as aggressive or as prominent in the games industry, whereas nowadays it feels like every second game has microtransactions. And this is really, really why I'm worried about Borderlands 3. Hell, the earliest ones I can think of just right now off the top of my head is Battlefield 3 had microtransactions, believe it or not. It had the unlock shortcut bundles. Battlefield 4 had them in more usual format, in the sense that you could buy the unlock, like upgrade bundles, or you could actually purchase battle packs, I think they were called. Those are some of the more recent ones off the top of my mind. And of course, remember, these are all full price €75 games with usually expensive season passes. They're not free to play games that survive on basically all of this stuff. These are games that you would pay full whack for, probably even more because you're required to buy a season pass because, well, look at the modern era we live in. And then you're already still at a disadvantage over someone who spends real world money. Or you're already fighting a complete uphill battle because the game is skewed in such a way that it's trying its fucking goddamn hardest to make you spend that money so you're not sitting there for an extra 20, 30, 40 hours. I just think it's absolute pure scumbag shit. It's just ridiculous. The only time I've ever spent money on... I can't even say spent money. The only time I have ever bought in-game microtransactions, that's probably the best way of wording it, is at one point I got... There's a way back video on it here. I basically got a €40 Blizzard card for something like €4 or so. It was real dirt cheap, and I couldn't pass it up. I said, you know what, fuck it, I'll literally buy this, enter it in, spend it on Overwatch, on boxes. I unboxed the Overwatch stuff, and you know, I had fun, but I don't play Overwatch anymore, so it's kind of all moot, regardless of if I got it for like 1/10 of the price. But the point is anyway that people, please don't buy these. Send a message to developers, not just by not buying them. Some people even go as far as boycotting games, boycotting devs, boycotting publishers over stuff like this. There's a huge amount of outrage online at the moment over both Star Wars Battlefield 2 and Middle-earth Shadow of War. For the simple reason is the Star Wars ones give you a straight up advantage over people in competitive multiplayer, and the ones in Shadow of War are because the game balance has been so turned in favor of the developer to make you spend money. Do whatever it is you need to do. Vote with your wallet. It's the only way they understand this. Not by not buying the microtransactions, but depending on how pissed off you are, don't buy the game. Let them know that if this is how they value you, or I won't say value, if this is how little they value you as a consumer of their product, if they value you as a cash cow, as a piñata, as a piggy bank hanging from a stick, hanging from a tree that they can beat with a stick every so often, just to try squeeze out the extra few euro, the extra few dollars, the extra few yen, the extra few dollary dues, whatever it is, send them a message that, hey, I am not going to even get up on that piñata rope for you to even potentially beat me for. There's a huge amount of people claiming they're going to boycott the game and not even buy it. That remains to be seen if it's actual, because people talk a lot of shit online and people are hypocrites in general. But we'll see how it is. We'll see how it is. Let me know in the comments section below. I can't even really go into too much depth here because I'll be here for another fucking 20 minutes talking about it. Let me know your views on any type of microtransaction, be it cosmetic only, be it ones like, say, that you can earn fairly over due process in-game, or ones that are completely skewed against you balance-wise, or ones that give you a competitive edge over other people if you spend real-world money. Anything to do with microtransactions at all, even if you've ever bought some, let me know anything in the comment section below, as well as if you plan on boycotting games, if you already do boycott games or developers or whatever because of things like this, or if you're just sick of it, because like I said, it feels like every fucking second game at this point has a €50 season pass and microtransactions and still costs €75. Luckily, I don't buy the majority of these games, so it doesn't personally affect me, but that's a whole other extension to the video that I'm not going to do right now. Let me know anyway in the comment section below anything to do with what I just explained, or anything to do in this video whatsoever. Hit the like button if you agree and if you're sick of all this shit, or if you liked the video. If you didn't like the video or you don't agree and you say, well, if you don't like them, don't buy them, leave that in the comment section and hit the dislike button. It's your choice. Also, if you like my thoughts and opinions and ideas and observations on stuff like this, hit the subscribe button, or at least consider it. Maybe hit the notification button. See whatever comes next on the channel. Maybe even get a little bit of a notification for when I start up a stream. Anyway, I will see you guys on the rest of the videos in my channel.